That is the second cassis they've had.
Yeah.
Still not green. Come on.
Get the word!
And good morning, everybody. Welcome to a Friday edition of Bid Nerds, your daily nerd out on the most interesting cars of the day on all the automotive enthusiast auction websites. I am excited because we've been dinking around before the show. I drank my entire cup of coffee here, and I'm excited about our third nerd who is coming on. My hat may be some indication of the fella who's about to join us. But before we do that, my name is John Polnik. This is Bid Nerds. I am coming to you live from the Las Vegas Strip in Las Vegas, Nevada, as well as my buddy and partner Michael Deeb coming to you from San Francisco. Good morning, Michael Deeb. How are you?
Oh, dude, awesome, man. Stayed up late watching TV.
Yeah, man. Let's we'll talk about that in just a second. I want to hear what you were watching, but first, let's introduce our third nerd. It's a Third Nerd Friday. Any day can be a Third Nerd Day, but it's Third Nerd Friday, and we got a good one. We got someone. It's not Terry. It's not Terry from Hemmings.
Still doesn't want to come on the show. Come on.
He hasn't figured out how to get online yet. He's still trying to get his router and his phone to sync up. Yeah, his AOL is not his friend. All right, well let's go to someone who's a little bit more current. Lane Skelton from Rad ForSale. Look at that fella.
I have a title. No, I just.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that. You've got a little thingy. It's a little chyron. Look at that. Did I spell your name correctly, or did I? Because it's entirely possible. Yeah, I could put it up again. Did I get it right? Look at that.
Yep,
I like. Look at that. And I even put for sale all one word with a big F and a big S.
It's not supposed to be one word. It's supposed to be two words.
I asked Bradley that, and he said it was all one word. Jeez Louise. All right, I blame Bradley.
Brad doesn't know.
Bradley isn't here, so I can blame him on it. Lane Skelton, every time I see you, you're better looking. I can't figure out why today you look so good. I don't know. Maybe it's your fashion sense. That's what it is. It's not his, model-like svelte figure.
It's the hiding of my face.
It's you've got a Magnum kind of look today, and it's Cold Steel or something like that. Blue Steel. That's it.
Blue Steel.
How's it going over at Rad ForSale?
It's going well. We've had some really good sales. We're just itching to get more cars on there, and we have to build that confidence and just keep pushing.
Well, you guys had a lot of bumps along the road, kind of when you developed your own platform from scratch, and it looks like you've gotten through a lot of those. Is that fair to say that you're kind of ready for prime time?
Yeah, for sure. We, as with anything like that, built a site from scratch. Spent tons of time, and we've been spending time every day making small improvements and little things. And it's an ongoing process. Plus nights and days, and every day bleeds into the next. But finally, at that point where we're kind of comfortable to start getting more cars. We've had a few really good sales. We had that Ninja go last week.
I was going to bring it up. The Ninja. You guys crushed it with that.
I mean, it might be, I don't know. I haven't seen any sales of Ninjas that have reached that level, We've seen, if you look up, like, what market value is, it's lower than what we sold it for. Right. So we've done really good on really good cars. So when we get the good stuff, we do well. We sold 911 Cab, 52K.
The 944
Turbo Cup. That might, I don't know. I know Bring a Trailer a couple of months ago had a no sale on one for like in the 60s. So we killed it on that car, and we're really good at our niche, which is 80s and 90s. And I think we can. We might not be getting all the eyeballs right now, but we're getting the right eyeballs, and we are getting our niche. We are getting those eyeballs. We are rad.
Good for you.
We are Radwood. We're Radwood era, so
ride or die, baby, ride or die.
We just need more cars. We need more stuff, and so if you're out there, you have a car that you want to list, bring it on. and we'll we'll pump the crap out of it.
Yeah,
pump the daylights out of it. Right on. Yeah, that
Ninja was a great result because it was like $1,500 all week, and then we covered it on the show. And I said 3,500, and JP said 4,500, and we were betting the platform a little bit on that. But we both agreed that that bike's value should be in that $4,500 to $6,000 range, and then you guys sold it for like $7,500, $8,000. That's all the money. I mean, that consignor must have been doing a jig in the middle of the street after the auction closed. So congratulations. That's what is supposed to happen. So I hope they're all like that moving forward, man. Well, way to go.
Thanks.
Good job.
Yeah, it's all two guys in the room, right? It's like that's all you need,
When you guys in your war room at the Rad ForSale war room are sitting there, hanging out, and you've got that a couple days before, and that, like, let's use that auction as an example where it's just not moving. $1,500. Describe, were you guys sweating it, and when it changed, how did the feeling change? What was your? I mean, I kind of wanted to be a fly on the wall in your guys' office when that was happening.
I mean, I don't want to give but for the most part, it's like our internal conversation between basically Art Warren and I are kind of running. Art Warren, Rick, and I run this site, and we're going at it all day. And it's like that conversation is a little bit like, motorcycles are hard. We have a hard time getting motorcycles to our show. Obviously, motorcycles are niche anyways. It's kind of like, we'll see what this does. In reality, 4,500 would be a good sale on that bike for us.
For
absolutely,
sure.
Yeah.
So we would be we would have been happy with $4,500, and it did 7,500, and we were like, it was kind of like the conversation's like, oh my God, look at this, look at this. And I was in my car picking up my daughter from junior high at the time, and I had it on my dash, and my daughter's like, oh my God, it went to 6,
It's exciting.
So,
drama is so much fun,
super fun. And then with the 954 Turbo Cup, that happened. I think it was at 50 at 0, and it went up to 89,999. So I was all after the 3 extensions. Just kept going and going.
You're sitting there
45 minutes.
That's amazing. Yeah.
No one was stepping up, right? It was like, $500, $500.
Yeah.
No knockout punches.
No.
Yeah, when the numbers are sitting low, you got to be sitting there going, God, do I need to brush up on my bartending skills? I mean, maybe I need a different career or something like that. And then boom!
Stressful.
Yeah.
Because when you think about it, it's like, I know, JP, you've sold cars on these platforms.
Yeah.
Think about how stressful it is. We have that every car we sell. Every car is ours, right?
Right. Yeah.
And you're always like, I shot a friend's Volkswagen GTI for Bring a Trailer a few months ago, and I took the pictures of it for him, and he's like texting me the day before, it's only at 35. Oh man, I'm so screwed. And I'm like, dude, you're fine. Like, it's gonna be fine. And I'm like talking him off the ledge, and the car ended up going for like 8,500, and he did really well on it. But it's always, everyone has that kind of it's hard.
Well, I will tell you from experience, having sold, I don't know, let's see here, what have I sold, like 3 or 4 cars on different auction platforms. It's nerve-wracking, and, most of them have had late rallies, but a couple, well, no, not really, Michael. You think about it, the GT3 wannabe didn't. I mean, it had like one, thank God, fairly decent bid at the end on the last day, and then that was it. Yeah. And it did not get anywhere near what we thought we would get, and that was PCAR Market, which, whatever, that was an experiment.
Blame them.
Definitely blame them. Too bad it wasn't a 90s cars. I would have put it on Rad ForSale.
Are they based in Florida?
No, they're in Long Island. They're in Long Island. They actually have a dealership there, so they've been selling cars for a long time, that group, and they have a pretty fancy studio in there. They've got a bunch of money.
They're like in an old brick building, and it's beautiful.
Yeah,
they did a podcast and walked around their studio. They have glass offices and like a Porsche tractor and all these cars lying around, and you're like, what in the hell? Like they have a sugar daddy for sure. Somebody's underwriting that whole operation without a doubt. So.
It seems like the cars that sell there are definitely cars that are on the East Coast. The West Coast cars don't do nearly as well, and I think it's because a lot of the East Coast cars literally go to the shop, and I think they promote that you can go drive them or something like that. I don't know. A little bit of a speculation there. But speaking of shows and things, I'm super excited to be able to announce this today. Porsche Road Trip with yours truly, John Polnik, is now live on Pluto TV. We produced this show well over a year ago. Delivered it, and it's been in kind of like Hollywood hell, and we planned on promoting the heck out of it before it came out, and it just dropped. Adam Carolla's network carries it, Chassis TV, on Pluto TV, and so it's there now. We had no premiere, no promotion. It's just on 8 episodes. That's your binge watch for the weekend. Do you guys mind indulging me for a minute, and so I can show the trailer to Porsche Road Trip?
Do it.
All right, so I'm going to cue it up, and it's just a minute long here. We'll come right back after this.
Is it on? Is it live? Can you feel it?
I love driving and BSing about classic Porsches. So how great would it be to take a killer road trip in an old 911 and visit a bunch of my best friends who love the same things? Oh, and while I'm on the trip, I thought I'd make a TV show about it. So let's drive the coolest cars on the best roads with the greatest people in America. I'm John Polnik, and you're coming with me on my Porsche Road Trip.
I think it's just getting people into cars for the reason we like cars, which is actually like driving the cars.
You're living with a Victoria.
Lane's in the teaser! What? Saving it for the next guy.
I take a microfiber and I just kind of wipe her down. But
man, give me a 911 turbo cab. Cause that big wide ass with that top down and that girl's hair flying in the wind, you can't beat that.
This is all your fault, John.
I ain't no collector. You drive them things and I might respect ya.
Nice.
There it is. Lane, you made the teaser, man. You were in the main teaser.
I know, it's awesome.
You dropped the line of the entire show. We drive these cars the way we want to drive because we drive them. I don't even know what the line is. It's my own darn show.
Oh, no, I think I was saying, you should get into cars for driving, not looking at them.
That is correct. Thank you, Lane, for participating. I hope you enjoy the episode that you are in, and your contribution was really great for that episode.
I look forward to watching all of them. I saw a little cameo from the professor, too.
No, Ben's film is in, of course, the first episode, and then we have a section with him in every episode, except for one, where we have what's called the teachable moment with the professor, and he basically, we take a minute to showcase a specific classic Porsche, and he kind of gives the rundown on that car. He came up with some amazing lines. I just basically said, fill a minute, and told him to write his own copy and then record the audio, and he gave me some doozers. My favorite of the show, when he did a profile on the Porsche 993 Turbo, he described the car as the pinnacle of human achievement. And I don't know if I've heard a better line ever when describing the 993 Turbo. Got to agree with that. What do you guys think of that?
That's pretty
awesome. Yeah, I can't wait to watch all of them. I saw a little one last night. It was super late, and it looks really good. And it's crazy. It was 2 years ago that my segment was filmed.
It is. It's true. Yeah.
So Esther and I were watching it last night. We're watching the first one, the LA one, and in between, little vignettes, there's just like rolling. What do you call it? B-roll.
B-roll, yeah.
And there's drone footage of Bunny, my RS America, up in the Malibu Canyons on one of the professional runs, and Esther's standing across the river. I was like, Esther, look, there's the car, and so she turns and looks at the TV, and the next cut, we're in front of Habitat Coffee, and Esther's like giving JP a big hug, and I'm like, hey, that's my pie, it was hilarious. I was like, there you are. I was like, right when I brought her attention to the TV to see my car, there's a picture of Esther, smiling and hugging on JP, and I'm like, what?
I'm pretty sure it was the professor, but fair enough. I mean, that is that's a solid Revenge of the Nerds reference there, though. I do approve that.
That's my pie.
Yeah. Lane,
really cute. The cameos were great, man.
Thank you, Lane. Thanks for being part of the show. Everyone in the show are all my friends except for Adam Carolla. We're sitting there saying that, I go drive around with my friends, and everyone's like, "You're friends with Adam Carolla?" Well, no. I mean,
No.
He's cool, and that'd be awesome, but he was like in the room just long enough to do the interview and make it seem like we were friends. So I appreciate that. Thanks, Adam Carolla.
Adam Carolla treated the interview like a trip to the dentist, huh?
Oh, man,
All right, let's get this over with.
I needed the Novocaine, let me tell you. Sir Mix-a-Lot is a good buddy of mine, though, so thanks a lot, Mix. We really appreciate you. That track, Cars, is one of his tracks, by the way, too. So anyways, speaking of cars, let's nerd out on some cars on the auction sites. What we do on this show, while you're hitting the subscribe and like button and the notification button, let me tell you what we do on this show. We make predictions as to what cars will hammer for when the hammer hits the sound block at the end of their individual auctions. We pick a handful of cars every day and nerd out on them. We tell you what we think the price will be, and then we check ourselves from the previous day. We always start the show with our check ourselves before we wreck ourselves recap of the previous predictions to see how we did. So let's get to that quickly since we've screwed around so much this morning. We screw around too much.
Yeah, we'll run right through this, JP. We'll start at cars and bids where, what's his name? Doug DeMiro sourced a 1994 MG RV8 that is made in England. And yes, that is correct. That car is right-hand drive. This was meant to be kind of a homage and a spin-off of the original MGBs. And they used a few parts carried over, but the rest of the car was new. And what they really wanted to do was stuff a contemporary V8 that was sourced from the Land Rover Discovery. So you're talking about the 3.9 liter V8, this stunning, kind of metallic dark green color, but not a lot of performance. And being an MG, you got to wonder about the reliability. These cars were never sold in the United States, so over here. You're really kind of a Russian roulette thing because, something goes wrong, you're ordering parts of the UK, your car would be down for weeks at a time while you tried to make repairs. So I don't know about the long-term collectability or viability of owning one of these cars in the States, but it is a very nice 27,000-mile example. I venture to guess at around 25,000. JP was a little more pragmatic about it and came well under me, said $20,000. Doug DeMiro, congratulations. You guys sold the car for $28,000. And by all accounts on that website, that is all the money. So maybe a surprising result, but there you go. What do you think, John? Were you surprised by that number as much as I was?
I was. I think the platform is seeing some higher numbers because higher numbers are being seen everywhere, and it's raising the rising tide is raising all ships. And this is perilous, I think, for auction sites to think that it's them, and if they focus on just themselves and not look at auction sites as a whole, watch out if you think that you're doing everything right because you got some higher numbers. Well, maybe this car would have gone for more on BAT. I don't know. What do you think, Lane?
I have no idea, dude. I remember reading about these in car magazines back in the day when they came out. So
yeah,
I mean, it's like an underwhelming 180, 90 horsepower V8.
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's an M.
Pretty bad looking, actually. I like them.
Yeah, it's an MG 964. It's basically their attempt to do the same thing that Porsche did.
Smooth the bumpers and everything.
And
I mean,
put a little temporary suspension and brakes. Yeah,
it looks cool. It has a little Ferrari California Spider in that little rear haunch and stuff.
Yeah.
It's a good looking car for sure. But British and I don't know, and that's in the States, right?
Yeah, that's here. That's the stateside. It's on the US
tough
title.
one.
I would
right-hand drive and
I wouldn't mind driving behind it on a Driving While Awesome rally for a minute before I pass him, and then
smoking and
totally. Yeah.
I think that's all the money.
I agree.
All right.
So there you go. Anyway,
what else did we talk about yesterday?
Let's jump up and look at that Porsche 2008 Carrera S. JP, it's just interesting to note this car that I thought would bring $50,000, you thought would bring $60,000, and this was your win of the day. It brought $58,911. But that Porsche from the day before brought $61,000. So yeah, that price reflects the price from yesterday. And you were on the money. You guessed $60,000 on both cars, and you won both those lots. The cab from the day before and this coupe, proving that S's in the 997 range, whether it's a .1 or a .2, are in short supply and high demand. So that's a big number. What else can you say, John? Anything?
No, I mean we're gonna see this trend I think continue because you just can't. I mean, Porsche's in short supply in general. The 9, let's see here, what was it? The one from the previous day on Hemmings, that was a Cabrio with only 13,000 miles. This one at least has like 30,000 miles, which I think is safer because it's probably gotten over the hump of some of the problems that you wind up having with them. Lane, what do you think of? Yeah, what do you think of 997s, Lane?
It's crazy. I mean, I didn't know they had gone up this much.
S's.
I hear you, but I mean, that's like crazy money for that.
Yeah.
I feel like a couple of years ago, like GTSs were not too much above that. So,
yeah, and you're probably right.
That's for a .1 too.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
And that's manuals. I didn't know eights never came with lobster claws though.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, all all .1s.
506.
Yeah, I mean that wheel was available all 4 years of the 997. Yeah, .1. Most people didn't option for that in that year. Yeah, but the lobster forks were actually the lightest wheel in the range in the .1. So that was a popular wheel, and yes, it was also the wheel on the launch car. I know specifically. It's funny because I remember seeing this car when it came up on the list, and I almost bought like an identical car. When I was looking at my 993, this was a car that was on a list because a buddy of mine had one. He was a one owner. My buddy in Wisconsin had this. I mean, same colorway, same wheels, everything. I was like, do I get a 997 or do I finally get an air cooled again? And I went the air cooled way, which is better.
Do you like the lobster claws?
I like them a lot, actually.
I do too, and I think they've aged really well. They look like a
lot of people hate them, and I feel like they're kind of coming up again.
Absolutely, I think they're really cool, and JP and I both kind of fawn over them. But anyway, the big thing with these 2008 S's is that they were both manuals and both decent miles, and they all had the right equipment. So these are both, I think, high water marks.
No sport seats, though.
Yeah.
No sport seats. No sport exhaust, but they had PASM, and S's have better brakes, better suspension, blah, blah, whatever. Anyways, all right, moving on, JP. On cars and bids, we'll go back.
Neither one of them had IMS fixed either, so that's another one. Yeah, really weird. That's really weird.
People just kind of like they just think it's a 996s or something, or what?
They're just glazing over it. It's weird.
Yeah. Some people do, and some people are really confused on when the cutoff is. I can't tell you how many times people said, "Oh no, that's only on the first year of the 997."
Oh yeah, it's with DFI, right?
Yeah, it's DFI is 2009 and newer.
Yeah, exactly.
So exactly. So an 8 falls in. An 08 falls into the M96 engine, and that is prone to IMS issues.
Wasn't it? I thought I remember that 08s they were serviceable still.
Depends on which one. There's the dual row and the bigger one, and it just depends on what your car was equipped with. And I can't remember what year it is that changed that. I thought that was like the earlier ones that like the real early ones weren't serviceable, and the later ones were.
Oh yeah, you're right. 05 weren't serviceable. Just 05, and it changed. Yeah.
So but it does seem like it's much more rare on the 08s. I've heard fewer cases of it, but I also think that's because there are fewer 08s around because they were already reducing production. So 08s are not the most common 997.1 you're going to find. Most of them are going to be 5, 6s, and 7s. All right, sorry, we're the same old conversation that's had over and over and over again about M96 motors, but it's worth having.
It's informative for sure. All right, go back to cars and bids. We saw a 2009 Bmw Z4. Which I thought would be an interesting juxtaposition against that MG. It had more miles, and there was something on the Carfax, but this is a manual turbocharged 300 horsepower Z4 Roadster. A really neat car, convertible, I should say. I guessed 18, you guessed 15. JP, we were all over this car because it came. The selling price came in between our bids. It landed at $17,500 and sold for that price. I got my second win of the day. We looked at the Dodge Dakota, but that one closes today, so we'll talk about it on Monday, and we'll jump down to the Chachi Ramirez special out of Carlsbad, California. Was this really nicely presented and done 1978 Datsun 280Z on PCAR Market of all places? I said 24,000. You actually bet the over at 25. This was a really nice build. This looks like a car we would enjoy driving. And this car was bid to $24,250. giving me the win. But the car in the tank, the consignor accepted an offer where it sold $26,500 about an hour later. So the car did sell, but not at the close of auction. So technically, I get the win. But JP, your price was more representative of what the value was on the car because the consignor took this $1,500 over your guess. So all the way around, this is one lot where everybody won. PCAR Market sold a non-Porsche on the West Coast. Hallelujah! Pop the champagne. The consignor got rid of his car, and you and I were both right on the two different places where the bid landed and where the car sold. So anyways, and Chacho Ramirez got promotion for his 280Z build. So everybody except Lane won on this one. There you go.
That's a California car?
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, that car's in Carlsbad.
I mean,
Nice.
that's an unsmoggable car, though. That's like, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a hard one. I mean, a 280, it's like, ugh.
The thing is, if you can get it to pass smog once, you throw it on a collector plate, and then you don't have to smog it again, right? You put it on a classic automobile plate, and you're smog exempt for as long as you own it. But you'll have to retrofit that smog stuff to get it sold, or you're selling it to Montana. I agree with you. It's
and it's not cats on that. It's like it's
problematic for sure. But for for a hobby car, it's a pretty cool looking build, and Z's are moving in the right direction. I think that makes everybody
it's cool.
happy.
I mean,
everybody seems to like them. I'm not a big single overhead cam fan, but
they're
whatever.
They're cool. I had a 71 for a while, which is the best year, probably, or one of the best years.
That was a 40 though, right? A 240.
A 71 240. Yeah, early car. So I mean, it was cool, but compared to a Porsche, it's like a tin can.
It is, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, all right. So that's the day, and there we go. Onward and upward. We got Lane Skelton on today. JP, do you want to, since the Range Rover that you guys kind of bid to make Lane feel at home kind of came and went, should we just go back and look at that Lancia, or do we just do 4 cars?
Yeah, we could do the Lancia. That's fine.
Okay, cool. I say
so
that. So
I don't have that queued up here. Let's see here. So go ahead and start with let's go ahead and start with the slant nose. So what we're going to do right now is get to the cars of the day. Make sure you hit the subscribe and the like button and the notification button, and let's proceed to nerd out on the most interesting cars of the day on all the automotive enthusiast auction sites.
So the Lancia is on Bring a Trailer, and I will open with our star car, which is a 1987 Porsche 911 Carrera on PCAR Market with just 35,000 miles, and its original colorway is a color I love, and I don't expect you guys to like it as much as I do, but for whatever reason, this Cassis, which is kind of a pink metallic, I think is a hot car from in period back in those days. JP, I will remind you that when I was walking to grade school and walking to high school, we lived close to where a shopping mall was, and there was a dentist who parked an 80s convertible at the bottom of my block, and then he would walk down into the shopping mall to go to work every day. And the reason why I know he's a dentist is his vanity plate in California was Bite Fixer, and it was a Cassis cab with burgundy interior. And this is a Cassis coupe with burgundy interior. This car, as soon as it was purchased, taken to Alan Johnson Racing in San Diego, California in 1987, where they grafted on a conversion to make it a slant nose. These are steel flares, which is similar to what the factory would use, but nowhere in the description on this car does it say that they use the factory part. So this could, for all intent reasons, be an aftermarket conversion, but it was clearly done to a high standard, because when you look at the glossy photos, there's like 4 photos that were added to the end of the bucket recently where the car was photographed outside. All the panel gaps look to be spectacular, and it does have low mileage. The underneath photos show that all the factory cosmoline is there, and by all accounts, this looks like it's a not factory original paint, because they clearly painted it the conversion, but this is 30-year-old, almost 40 paint. It looks like it's held up really, really well for its lifetime. It also has a set of aftermarket wheels made by a company called Epsilon. Look very BBS in nature, but made by a different company. And again, period correct, because they were applied, they were installed at the time they did the conversion. I am jonesing for this car. I have my 84 with a 915 gearbox that's in ruby metallic, and I would swap out the car for this car in a heartbeat and throw my Magnus Walker wheels on there. And I think, despite having a pink metallic Porsche, I think my car would look pretty damn tough. I love this thing. Lane, are you a fan of this, or is it I mean, I know it's Red era for sale. Would you rock a pink metallic car?
Well, hold on, Lane. Before you get to that, I want to ask you, because you know these, I think, maybe even better than I do. Those headlights don't look right, do they? I mean, look at that. Well, it's not that.
You're right.
They're square lights.
I don't really know.
No, that's not the issue, Deeb. It's like they don't fit. They don't fit the whole square. The normal on the normal ones on a real slant nose. This light. Yeah, there shouldn't be any kind of bracket around this. That is the bulb is small.
Yeah. It almost looks like they're like screwed onto a plate, and then it's kind of it's a little odd, huh? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So sorry to cut you off, but what do you think of that car?
I mean, I dig Cassis actually. I think it's better in person than in pictures too. In a lot of cases. It's a cool car. You know, it works well on those wheels. It's pretty rad, dude. You know, it's funny. Like, I mean, it's funny how your like taste changed, because 15 years ago I'd be like, that thing is so gross.
Yeah.
Like slant noses are so lame.
Yes,
you know, all that stuff. And now I'm like, oh, like I remember there was slant nose down the street from my house like 10 years ago for sale for like 13 grand or something.
Yeah.
It was like that's pretty nice, and I'm like, oh, I think it's so gross, but that's pretty cheap, you know? Like, and it's like now you're like, oh my god, dude, I think it's so cool.
Box rockers and cheese graters, man, that is where it's at right now.
Yeah. Yep. Listen, JP, when I was growing up, I had an uncle that had a 356C. It was red with black interior, and I remember that car, and that's when my association to Porsche began, because I had an uncle that owned an old 356. And then when I was in junior high and high school, this dentist parked his car at the bottom of my block, and I walked by and I was like, a pink Porsche, that thing's ugly. But you know, you look at it and you look at it and you look at it, and your memory is like, oh my god, I was jonesing for that car when I was a kid. It was so amazing. And this is that colorway. And with what you guys have done to bring this era back into the limelight, I look at this car and it's like, oh my god, I'm like 16 again, and it's the car I want to hang, not on a poster in my bedroom, but in my garage, and I want to drive the snot out of it. And on merit alone, this is an 87 G50 cab in Cassis with 35,000 miles, and then it has a pretty reputable build, although we can take issue with the headlights. I don't like that lower front grille on the car. We can take issue with some of the points on this, but you know, this is still an incredible car that was done in period sort of correctly by Alan Johnson Racing. This is a neat car.
No, I think that's the big thing. It was done in period, like right when it was a brand new car, essentially, and it's preserved, right? It's a really nice car.
Absolutely. I mean, the factory charged $18,000 for the nose job. I wonder what Alan Johnson charged for the nose job in 1987 or 1988 when you had to ship your car across the country to San Diego and have a service build a car. I mean, it's really interesting.
Well, that's what you were saying, Deeb. You were talking about the lights, the bulbs being round, and I was not tracking with what you were talking about. I thought you were talking about like the fact that it didn't have the bug eyes. But so that's what the light's supposed to look like when they're open. Yeah. And here's what this one looks like. So that's kind of a big old dead giveaway that this is definitely not a factory slant nose. And I don't know if I hate this. I mean, really, most of the time the headlights are going to be down anyway, but I'd certainly prefer them to be around. Yeah.
I would just, that slatted grill on the front, I would change with some sort of like a chicken wire kind of thing to give that front grill look, I don't know, better facade. Headlights are going to be, go ahead.
Well, you know what that is, Deeb? Looking at that, I mean, I'm sitting here going, that little grill that you're talking about in the front.
Yeah.
That is a rear grill cut out to fit in there.
No way. That's my grill, JP. You found my
grill. That's why I recognize it, because I stole Michael Deeb's grill to put on my slant nose, and I've been looking for one. And it's like, oh my god, where do I recognize that pattern? Holy cow, that's funny.
That's funny, because it even has that curvature. It has a little more curvature than it should.
It doesn't flush. That's hilarious. JP, you get the eye of the week on that one. That is
wow.
Great call. Well, I hope the fact that this is a bad slant nose job, that this car doesn't sell and it winds up in the deal tank, because I would absolutely like to buy this car. I think I would absolutely rock this thing and make it really fun and make it handle. It'd be great.
Yeah. Where's it going to land?
It weighs a ton. So, JP, this car has gotten a ton of love in the last few days. So our car has finally come off the stops. It was at 30,000 last night, and it is currently sitting at $58,911, offered out of Kenilworth, Illinois, with just 35,000 miles on it. It's got about 2 hours to go. JP, I'm betting the aftermarket conversion. I'm betting, Illinois isn't exactly a great place, but it's not like it's impossible to get to. It's not winter anymore. And we're also sort of betting the platform. So I'm going to say, I think this should be a $100,000 car, but I don't think it is because it's not a factory one. But it's still an 87 G50 cab. So I wrote 75,000. I feel like my bid might be light, but I also feel like this car might not land, but it winds up in the deal tank for like 110 grand or something. So I'm going to stick to my guess at $75,000 and send it to Lane. Where are you at, buddy?
I was right there with you. But I guess I'll just go right under that at 74.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's a JP move.
Yeah. Deeb, what did you say? Where are we at? 75? I don't know.
I just think it's going to land there and wind up in the deal tank. I think the car is worth my money. I imagine the reserve is higher than my guess, but I'm guessing the platform and the fact that, with a trained eye, we can see that this is absolutely not a factory conversion. They just made one to look like the factory.
Yeah, the fact is, if it were an 87 coupe G50 with this kind of miles,
with 35, they'd be $90,000 car.
Yeah, you're probably right. But I think the wide body aftermarket stuff, that's all hurting it. I'm going to say it doesn't even make. I'm going to say 69, and goes to the deal tank. The last time a Cassis car hit PCAR market months ago, they had an 81 SC, and it was the same kind of deal. It was a wide body conversion. It was not a slant nose, and it was this color. It was just from my hometown in Snohomish, and I tried to buy it, but someone got it before I could in the deal tank. Right. And I'm with you. That color is fun. But I
love that car.
Yeah, air cooled and what's that? What's that?
I was going to say it's a polarizing color. I think a lot of people don't like it, but the fact that this thing is so extreme with a slant nose, with the wide fenders, I think it could pull off that color for a broader audience because it is so out there. But I think on just a normal 87 Carrera, people are like, that's cool, but I'm not going to buy that car.
JP, picture my 1552s in matte black on that car with the deep dish and some Durr stickers and some Pegasuses. We're gone, man.
And Esther behind the wheel, and now that car's really talking.
Oh,
yeah. All right. Well, that's a good way to start the day. All right. What else we got?
Let's do another comparison. We're going to go over to Bring a Trailer and look at a Ferrari. This is a 2002 Ferrari 456M GTA in Tour de France blue with the Coyo interior. This one's an automatic. This one has very low miles out of Monterey, California. This has 15,000 miles on it. But you may recall just a couple of days ago on Cars and Bids, we looked at a 97 456 GT with a manual and 50,000 miles. On Doug DeMiro's site, that car sold for $83,000 despite the 50,000 miles, primarily because it was super clean, it had the manual, and this is a hot colorway. Now we're looking at almost a twin to that car with a third of the miles in California, but it's an automatic. So with an hour and a half to go, our car's sitting at $51,000. Again, the other car sold for $83,000 on Doug DeMiro's site, which is really interesting. That's a big number, we thought. So where do we think this car is going to land? This is a V12. It's a 2+2. This is Ferrari's, more Grand Touring car rather than an extreme performance car. And most of these 456s were sold with the automatic transmission. I would venture a guess that 55 to 65% of the production were automatics, and fewer of them were manuals, which is why I think that other car brought that big number. But this one, you can find duplicates of this car all the time. Now, this one's extremely clean. It's in California, and it's got pretty low miles on it. So, what do we think is going to happen here on what is arguably a bigger audience for Bring a Trailer? Lane, any experience with these front-engine Ferraris from the 90s?
I've driven 612s with a 6-speed. But
that's a fun car to drive. It's a really light throw. It's a really nice car.
My uncle had one. I took it out for a little bit.
They drive nice, man.
Yeah, it's really nice. He bought it new and just threw me the keys to it. So I love 456 styling. I think it's so good, and it's aged really well. I think it's a Hyundai Tiburon, right? First gen
Hyundai. You gotta say it like you're on fire.
Yeah. It's a Korean Tiburon.
TDF Blue or a Cuyo, that's like the best Ferrari 80s color combo you can get, or even 2000s or whatever. 430s are great in that color. This is a cool car, and my friend Steven Cottrell at More Imports is selling it. So at Adam More Imports down in Monterey. Cool. They always take great photos, well presented. They always have nice cars. That's where we had our last lunching while awesome. Was at his hangar.
Oh, nice.
This car is stored as well as a few singers. So I think it's a really cool car. Obviously, without the manual, it's not going to have the appeal. But it's at 60 now, you said, or 50?
51,000 with about an hour and a half to go down there at More Imports.
So hard to know. I think it's a...
You guys, you Italian car guys, do you now? This isn't even this is an automatic, yes, but it's not even it's not an F1, right? It's just a regular slush box automatic, yeah.
Better than an F1, really.
Yeah,
probably is. Yeah, it's smoother. It'll be way smoother to drive.
You don't want an old F1. They burn clutch. Dude, I was behind a guy at Concorso Italiano, just burned his clutch out because he didn't know how to drive it. Like, he had to get towed away.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
How do you drive an F1 transmission effectively without burning it out? I don't know. Is there a way to actually do that? That's not.
Yeah, you don't slip the clutch, so you don't do the little half throttle thing. You have to wait and actually go.
Yeah.
Right?
You treat it like a toggle switch.
Yeah, you can't drive it like an automatic where you just creep. If you're creeping, you're going to burn up the clutch.
You have to stab the throttle pedal.
Yep.
All right, so Michael Deeb, where's this thing going to land?
Oh boy, that's a really good question. Why are you asking me? It's not like I'm an expert or anything.
You're an Italian car guy.
I'm an idiot. That's what that means. I said 70 grand, which would put it $13,000 under the manual that had 3 times the miles. And I'm comfortable at my bid. I'm going to leave it right there. It could have a late rally. I wouldn't be surprised if it went right by, and it's because of the condition and the low miles. But I really believe that the automatic handicaps it, and that the automatics, no matter how nice they are not bringing that premium money that is so much closer to 100 or 6 figures. So anyway, that's where I'm going to stand. Lane, what do you think? 70 grand?
I said 60. I think I'm probably low, but I'm going 60. I just like, as an enthusiast, I don't.
Well, then I hope your friend at Moore's Imports aren't watching you lowball their car.
Where is it sitting at right now?
$51,000 with an hour and 20 minutes to close.
And Deeb, you said what? 70?
And Lane said 60. You got a lot of leeway there, buddy.
Yeah, 70, 60. I'll go 61. I'm with you. I don't know how an automatic one gets anywhere. I do kind of want to see you be right, though, Michael, because I think it'll be interesting to see. It would be hilarious if this car went for the same as a manual one on the other platform. If there were ever a "see, we told you so" moment, what are you doing? Don't sell your crap on cars and bids. That would be it. Sorry, Doug, but you got to step up your game. Lane, you mentioned something that I don't know. It's almost become a boring mantra from us. It's like, and it's the photos and how you represent the cars. I've said it over and over and over again that Doug DeMuro, his personal lack of aesthetic has bled into his platform. And, we talked about that hubris a little earlier about how, everything's going well, so let's just double down on what we're doing, not realizing that you have a problem. If Doug DeMuro went out and said, don't follow my aesthetic. Make sure that you represent the cars really, really well, and let's get some minimums from photography standards and that sort of thing. I think they could turn the ship, but they don't realize that they're going the wrong way. Go ahead.
JP, let me jump in for 1 sec. Lane, that other 456 that we were talking about 2 days ago that was on Cars and Bids.
I saw it in front of the trash cans.
The trash cans. Can you believe that shit? I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's gross.
So bad.
So I will say,
in front of dumpsters. Come on.
Dude,
man.
we have been struggling with this so hard with our site, and we've thrown up some cars with less than stellar photos, to say the least. But the cars with the good photos, they get the money too.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Like, the Ninja had great photos, and it got the money. And people were lazy, and you can't be lazy. And we know this by looking at Craigslist. There's McDonald's wrappers on the floor, and it's like, dude, I could go take pictures of a crappy car and make it look very appealing, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
And show off the flaws, but be like, dude, this thing looks rad. Like, look at the lighting's good.
Yep.
And so, I mean, I made a
So
photo
true.
guide on our site, and anyone's welcome to go check it out. It's on Rad ForSale in the blog section. I have a blog post, and it's like going through all the things about taking car photos, and it's like use a polarizer. There's just key things.
Yeah.
Basically, use your iPhone in good light in an empty field, and you got a winner.
Yeah.
But people are like, oh, I'm going to take it crooked on a crooked street.
Oh, when
my
somebody
house with the trash can next to it, and my wife like standing next to it. It's like,
when people
Yeah.
take pictures of their cars with their wheels turned away from that camera, JP loses his shit. It's hilarious.
I
He
lose
goes
my shit
mental.
when
Yeah, totally.
I lose my shit when they're cropped, when they're like right at the edges, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
step back. All you have to do is step
Yeah.
back.
Yeah. How about the thing you're seeing? I know I'm seeing this on ads all the time. Is people with their dirty mask hanging from the turn signal stock? It's like here's a dirty Kleenex. You want to buy this car? It's like I don't even want to touch it. Get away from me. That's so
Or they'll
gross.
just use condom on the ground.
Right? Yeah. We got some used toilet paper in the back. Got some diapers that they're only used once, so they should be fine, just like the car. God, jeez, what is wrong with you people?
Here's my dental flossers and my
Right. Yeah. Let's go with it. Ugh. God. Biohazards. Yeah. I mean, if you look at a car and you can tell there's DNA all over the place, just step away. Just get something else.
Yeah.
There's plenty of other options. Go to Rad ForSale and find yourself a clean car. All right. What's next, Michael Deeb? What do we got?
All right, JP. Let's jump. Actually, let's stay on Bring a Trailer and look
All
at
right.
this one. It is a Porsche 718 RS60 Spider replica out of Windsor, California, which is really not too far from Lane and I, just up the road into the wine country. It's a no reserve auction, JP. The odometer is showing 27,000 miles. The powertrain is an air-cooled flat four that pumps out about 2.3,300 cc's, and it has twin Delorto carburetors on it. And I think it's a 4-speed manual transmission. Now, the consignor is the guy who built the car. He bought the kit and built it himself, and he is now selling it. Now, I don't know when he bought it. I don't know which kit he actually purchased. It's not mentioned in the ad. But by all accounts, these replicas are not an emerging genre, but you and I have covered a lot of them. Some are really nice and some are not, but this one looks okay. I don't like some of the fit and finish. The steering wheel doesn't do a lot for me, but the seats are cool. And the fact that it's not, say, a Speedster or even an RS Spider, but the actual 718 with that pointy nose, I really like this one. This one's pretty cool. It has staggered with steel wheels to try, I suppose, and improve traction coming out of the corners with wider rears. Fiberglass body, JP, tubular chassis, home built. I don't suppose these home-built ones are the $50,000 ones, but this car's sitting at $24,000 with a little over an hour to go, and it's a neat-looking car. I imagine it would turn heads, and with 2.3 liters, it's probably fun to drive because it's not the run-of-the-mill 1,600cc one that we see time and time again in Speedster replicas. So, Lane, I will send it over to you. JP loves these things. I've never really driven one, but I've come to appreciate them as I've really kind of taken a much closer look at them by doing the show with John. What's your feeling on these things, and do you like this one?
Does JP, you like these RS60s, or do you like 550 Spiders?
I like the 550 Spiders. I'm a fan of replicas in general if they're cool and done right. So
Yeah. So I mean, 2,300 cc.
That's got a rip.
That's got a rip. I mean, that's probably 150 horsepower or something.
Yeah.
Which is crazy in that little thing that weighs 1,300 pounds or whatever it does.
Right.
1,100 pounds. But something's kind of off, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like the proportions look a little odd and awkward, and it looks, when I see it, it kind of looks like a model car.
Yeah.
Like it just looks like a kit car. Like the details aren't there, and I can't pinpoint it. I'm trying, but it doesn't look right to me. And I love a 550 Spider replica. I've always said, like, that's a car I need to own one of these days, and I really want. Now I actually have a garage, so I can get one. I've never had a garage before, and I would love to have a 550 Spider. But I think they're so much better than these RS60s. Like, I mean, RS60, the proportions are odd anyways, and then this one looks a little weird.
The windshield is not correct. They'd be better off to just pull the windshield and just put like a blade on it, like a plexiglass blade or something like that, and the bump on the back. Nothing looks right on this car. But
base looks a little long.
Yeah.
It's an odd looking one.
You got to hand it to this car, though, being the tubular frame and that big engine. This thing has got to be a performer. I mean, looking at the build, it looks like, whew, man, that thing's badass. But it just looks. I can't agree with you more, Lane. It looks wrong. This car would do really well if someone got nuts with a livery and just kind of filled in some of the negative space in a way that kind of made it seem like pull it together. And it's odd looking at the photos. There's like the steering wheel. He's got gaff tape over the steering wheel, like he's trying to cover up the Porsche logo, like he's worried Porsche is going to come and sue him or something like that. It's like, what that? I mean, I want to see what's under that. Yeah, because you can see in the wide shot, you can see the Porsche logo on the steering wheel, but then when you get to the close up, he's got the blue gaff tape on there, like he's.
I guess because it's not a Porsche. So
because I mean, are these old pictures? Did he take this for like a? Yeah, it's just peculiar. It's got a Porsche logo on the nose. I think from a performance point of view, this thing's got to be just so blinking fun. I just bought a 356, replica.
Company, JP?
Envimo. Have you ever heard of them, Lane? Envimo. They're it's a 356B Cabrio replica. It's not a Speedster. It's not a 356A. It's the weirdest thing, and it's got a
real windshield and everything.
Yeah, it's got the full frame windshield exactly, and it's the B body. It's a Super 90, and it's got a 2300 in it. It was sitting in a garage for 20 years, and so we're waiting to get it running. I can't wait to drive it because same thing as this. It weighs nothing, and it's going to have tons of power.
And that company later became Beck, right?
No, it didn't become Beck. They sold all their molds to
tooling
to Beck. But from what I understand, Beck didn't make 356B. So I don't. There's a lot of.
But maybe it's the other stuff. Like
we gotta figure out. What the heck? I don't know. I just don't know. There's more research to be done on that car, and stay tuned. We'll show you guys some pictures on next week. But back to this car, Michael Deeb. Where do you think this is going to land? How the hell do we comp this thing?
Again, the home-built fiberglass Porsche 718 RS60 Spider replica out of Windsor, California, has about an hour and 10 minutes to go. It's sitting at $24,000 on 18 bids. And let's see. Oh, man, my computer just... Let's go back here. Go ahead, Lane.
Oh, when you're thinking... The fact that it has door panels bothers me, too. Like, that car wouldn't have door panels. There's just weird stuff. It's like... It looks like a carnival ride.
Yeah. So it was at 19,500 last night. It's at 24 today. I had put a guess of 25,000 last night, but I would say that this car is probably going to get a few more bids, JP. So I'm just going to push it up the road a little bit and say $27,000 brings it home today. It's a no reserve auction too, so it's going.
That's interesting.
27 to you.
Yeah, I mean, just the fact that it's at 24 right now, and how much time left did you say?
An hour, just an hour.
Okay.
But it's got 18 bids, so there's some action.
Yeah, there's some action.
Guys, I'm showing pictures of a real one versus this replica here. So if anybody's watching the show and thinking this is a picture of the actual car, it's going back and forth. The one that looks really good with the meatball is the real one. This is the not real one. Go ahead, Lane. Sorry.
Just because it's at 24, because I'm not familiar with this market right now, and I think it always kind of stays around the same, but they have gone up a little bit. The replica speedster market essentially. Yeah. But I'll go 28.
All right, cool.
I'm going to say, I mean, you're right, Lane, that the replica market is increasing, like just about everything that's classic, but the replica market has really shot through the roof. I mean, a 550 replica that were this good with a tube frame and a big engine and all the good bits is definitely in the 50s range, like well into the 50s. Some of them are pushing 60 and up. 356 Spider replicas, lousy ones, are going for 30. So, like, like the really crappy, no-name brand kits and the wide-body ones, and straight-up bad ones. Yeah, the wide-body ones are terrible. Even the wide-body ones are in the high 20s. So the regular ones with the wrong gauges and a teeny little engine and just on a Volkswagen platform, those are in the 30s. And then good Becks are going up there in the 50s and inner Mechanicas and stuff like that. And then some guys are putting Subaru engines in them or Audi turbo engines in them, and they're getting six figures for the stupid things.
And JP, what do the Christopher Runge ones go for now? If you could slot, what are they?
Yeah, I don't think that's not even the same category.
I'm just saying it's a replica. It's an evocation of those cars that are custom tailored, and that guy's getting artisan money. He's almost Rod Emery money now.
And I think deservedly so, because that's a ground up build. Yeah,
beating alloy bodies and stuff.
Yeah, these are just fiberglass. All that said, though, even though this car does not look right and it's weird, it's still pretty cool, and I think it has some potential, and I think people are looking for stuff like this. Someone might want this over the 550 Spider because there's a bunch of 550s around, and looking at this on the street, most people aren't going to know that people don't know what a real RS60 looks like. They don't. They have no idea. And this one's completely wrong, but close enough. I'm going to say, what'd you guys say, Lane? You were at
27.28.
27.28. I'll go 35. I'll give you a big old spread on that. And I think I think with Sky on top of that, I think this could be in the 40s.
For sure,
yeah. There you go. All right.
No, I wouldn't. I don't think it's. I certainly. Like I said, full disclosure, I like replicas, but I'm getting a 550 at this point in that kind of money for sure.
Yeah, I'm getting a more correct one, right?
Yeah. Or if you could find one of these. Look at our friend Tony Mazzagatti over at 900 Series. He has a 904 replica that is the tits. That thing is one of the coolest looking cars there is. I could give two craps that it's a replica. If I had the money, I'd give him a couple $100,000 for that thing. It is.
He also, for the most part, built it with period correct stuff. It does have a slightly updated motor and gearbox, but all.
Slightly. It's got a 3.2 Carrera engine, but slightly upgraded, just a little upgrade.
The rest of the car, faithfully. And it is a gorgeous car. It rips. And Lane, so since you and I are in the same body type thing, Mazzagatti is the only one that could fit behind the wheel of his car too. By the way, it's like a built-in security system.
Dwayne has gotten in that thing. What are you talking about? Come on now.
Way.
Yeah.
All right. JP, let's jump over to look at this 1972 Lancia 2000 Coupe. I have to admit, before I selected this car, I've never even seen one of these or heard of it, really. Or I've just passed over because it's not the most exciting Lancia. But I just thought it was interesting because what we're looking at here is a 2-liter flat 4 that drives the front wheels with a 5-speed manual transmission. They certainly didn't bring many of these stateside, if at all. This one's offered out of New Bedford, Massachusetts. It's showing 10,000 kilometers, but its true mileage unknown. It's probably 110,000 kilometers. But look at this thing, 2-liter, flat 4, front-wheel drive, 5-speed manual. Is that an interesting car or what? I love the Pininfarina lines. I like the interior of this car. I don't suppose there's a lot of horsepower coming from this motor. My guess is it's because this one has a carburetor. It's the 115 horsepower model. Later versions of this car were fuel injected, and they made about 130 horsepower. But still, maybe not as a go fast or a back road car, but just as a cool little vintage car. This thing's kind of neat with pretty lines. It's almost sort of 60s era Ferrari-esque, but this is an early 70s Lancia with a much more reasonable drivetrain. There it is, not a big value with $14,000 on the current bid and just under 2 hours to go. But you certainly don't see them every day. If you want to go to Concorso Italiano and have a car that you will not see another one of, this could be your steed. So, Lane, any love for these unusual drivetrain Lancias, front-wheel drive in an era when everybody else was pushing the rears around?
Yeah, I love Fulvias, and I've never driven one, but everyone I talk to is like, dude, they drive so well. Yeah. Even though they are front-wheel drive,
They're V4's front-wheel drive.
V4, and they're supposed to be so fun.
cc's. Yeah, they rev like crazy.
Yeah, and they sound really good, too.
They do.
And they rallied them and all that stuff. This is more of like a touring car.
Right.
So, but I think it's very pretty. I think it's a great-looking car. I like the patina on the seats, and the kind of leather, the natural tan showing through and stuff like that. It looks like a great car, and imagine like wine country or something like that.
Exactly.
Perfect, right?
14-inch magnesium chrome Bora wheels, and although neither one of us are wanting to put them on any other car, they're probably still worth like $8,000 or $9,000 for the set of them. Yeah. It's got a Nardi steering wheel. There's parts on this car. JP, what do you think, man?
Oh, I think it's beautiful. I don't know anything about them. What is going on with that rear license plate frame? I guess that's some kind of weird Italian thing. I would love to own something like this, but I don't know what it's worth. I mean, how could you, if it's something that falls under 20 grand with the prices of all kinds of special stuff going so through the roof? This is the kind of car that you could roll into a Cars and Coffee, and people are going to assume this car is worth a lot more money than whatever it goes for today. And I think that's kind of fun for someone who wants to get into something classic, and maybe just start with something a little bit more obscure. I guess this is a gateway drug right here. Where's it going to land?
Yeah, JP, if you are friends with an Italian mechanic, this would be a very inexpensive way to jump into the genre. If you don't know a trustworthy Italian mechanic that's very competent, I advise you to stay the hell away from this car. It's not for the faint of heart because you can't have a mechanic poking around in there and making guesses. You really need to have somebody who knows what they're doing. If somebody understands Italian cars, then this one's pretty straightforward. And then parts just take time because they're not at the local dealer. So our car is sitting at $14,000. This probably isn't a $20,000 example, JP. So I'm just going to say $18,000 brings it home today, and that's my guess. Lane, where are you at?
I'm at 20.
All right, cool. That's a good guess.
All right.
2-liter for $20,000, not bad.
I'll park myself in the middle. I'll go 19. I think this is just a lot of pretty for not much money.
Yeah. All right, JP, we've been talking about these AMG C-Class Mercedes because everybody's friend Rami Mirza bought that, what was it, a 507, right? He
bought the 507, but market update, he traded that in for a C63, a 2018, just a couple of days.
Yeah. So here's a 2009, the godfather of his car. This one actually has the normally aspirated motor. This is the 6.2-liter V8 that makes 450 horsepower and over 440 pound-foot of torque. And it is all funneled through a 7-speed automatic transmission. Now, while that transmission's not fast, it is still pretty smooth. And this car makes a ton of normally aspirated torque. Can you say steering with the throttle? This is a donut-making machine for sure. I love the bulges on the front hood. I like the styling. Not a huge fan of the wheels, but I just love that Mercedes makes this car. And they have been a really good value in the secondary market. JP, I would say that, based on the prices that 996 turbos have been for a long time, up until recently, that this is Mercedes value add, that you can get these early cars for not a lot of money. This one is off at a Maryland, just $21,000, 21,000 miles on the odometer. I love black. I'm not a fan of the light, but I think this car looks really handsome in black, actually very tough with the AMG styling kit. And that motor is everything. It's normally aspirated, makes gobs of torque, and it's just a fun car to drive. If you want to go fast around turns in this, you have to be careful because you will light that rear end up and you will be seeing the road behind you if you're not careful. So Lane, big fan of the German muscle car from Stuttgart.
They're cool. It's cool. They're rad. I mean, it's rear-wheel drive, big V8, 6.2 liter. It's awesome. Budget interiors and stuff, but they're really cool cars. I still just see them as like a used car these days.
Yeah.
All right. So does the rest
it's cool
of the market.
though. I mean, they sound great too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are monsters, man. This car is so stinking fast, and the handling is unbelievable for what it is. Yeah, Rami's Coupe was absolutely, just a burner, and it is terrifying being in the passenger seat with him driving. I drove it and just had a good time with the car, and I got to tell you, the 996 thing you were talking about, it's like his car in the Coupe in the 507 series was worth somewhere around 40 grand probably. And I'm sitting there going, God, for this is a 2014 or 15 car, not the one that we're looking at, but it's the same body style essentially. For that kind of money, what do you get in Porsche? You're in a Boxster, or a really old 996, and not nearly as much performance. The only problem is the way they look. I think they're just really ugly. This one looks pretty good. This era certainly looks better. Frankly, sorry if you're watching, Rami, I really don't like the new C63. The current body style, I think, is just hideous. Just a hideous car.
It looks like a growth.
Yeah, but the naturally aspirated engine is way more predictable. It's not as punchy. He stepped up to the new one because when you get in it, it's just maniac mode. You can just like roast the tire with the B turbos. It's just spooling it up and just instantly tearing the tires off.
Flash it immediately and get another 150 pound-foot of torque. I mean, he's going to roast the tires on that thing. But that's
the natural aspirated is way more fun. I think you could actually drive it around corners in a predictable way and be far less likely to kill yourself. So, I think this is a great value where, depending on where it lands. I'm with you, Lane. It's just kind of it's really invisible.
It is.
But still way better than an Audi. Where's this going to land, Michael Deeb?
Yeah, so 21,000 miles.
Other than a parking lot sideways, upside down next to a dumpster if Rami's driving it.
Well, this first photo he's got on the site, JP. The car is literally parked over donut marks in the parking lot.
Oh my God, you're right.
He made them. Yeah, it's really funny.
Yeah, those are fresh.
Again, out of Gaithersburg, Maryland, with 20,000 miles on it, is a 2009 C63 AMG. It's at $25,000 on 11 bids, and I think this car. Well, I put $25,000 last night. It's already there. So I'm going to have to raise my bid and say that this thing is going to bring, I'll just go $30K and say, where you at, Lane?
I was at 25, but I'll go 26 just because it's at 25. I don't think, what site is it on? Forget.
The cars.
I mean, the fact that it's on Cars and Bids, I don't know if that really.
No, it is on Cars and Bids. That is going to be cap it. So that's a good guess.
I think Cars and Bids. I don't know if Black's. I don't know. It's all right, but not. Black's a big one for a lot of people, especially with the used car. I think it's on the lower end of those. So 26, let's say.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Trippy.
Yeah, I mean, you got to get financing for this thing. If you're a Cars and Bids fan, you don't have the money, and I don't know how you get financing for a car that you don't know how much it's going to be. And the audience isn't there. We don't see late stage rallies very much on Cars and Bids. So I would have taken Lane's bid, but since you went 30, I'll go 27 and just go park it $1,000 over Lane.
All right, here we go. It's on.
Alrighty then. Well, wow, is that all the cars today?
That's it.
That's all the cars for the week is what that is. Lane Skelton from Rad ForSale, thanks for hanging out with us and finishing off the week. Plug all the things.
Radforsale.com. Go list your car or item. We're selling items too. So we have a 944 lip spoiler up there right now. I actually bid on it because I have a 944. And I really want it actually. It's super rare period piece.
Yeah.
We have some D90 Porsche wheels up there right now.
Nice. Those are good looking.
Some cool old stereos coming. Yeah, 16s.
Oh, that's
but check out that. Radforsale.com, radwood.com. We have shows coming soon. We just almost locked down. Didn't sign the papers yet. But a San Mateo.
I'm trying to call you guys.
From a start
July.
time. Yeah.
Here, I'm going to take my picture.
San Mateo, cool. Would it be at an industrial place or like a park?
It is at a place. At a facility where they hold other events. So
nice.
Yeah, indoor, outdoor kind of thing. And that's coming. We're planning shows. We have a rally coming up for Driving While Awesome. That will be announced. Save the date will be coming very shortly, and it'll be about 3 months out. So really excited to get back to all of our things. That's drivingwhileawesome.com, Driving While Awesome on Instagram, Rad ForSale on Instagram, Redwood Official on Instagram. Those are the three main places.
All the things. Oh, go ahead, Michael.
Does DWA have a drive coming up anytime soon?
That's what I just said, dude.
What are you?
I was petting my dog here, so.
Oh yeah, so we're rally coming up in about. We haven't locked down a date yet, but around 3 months.
Okay, 3 months.
And we're gonna do a save the date in the next week or two here. And
See,
then
I
also,
thought all that was applying to the Rad show, so I apologize. I missed
no, that's cool. I'm just
DWI
rambling.
thing.
And then
Yeah.
if you're local, we have a DWI Morning Motors on April 25th. So Cars and Coffee at our location at the old Wrigley Building in Santa Cruz,
Nice.
California.
Nice, very cool.
Lane, how much would a StarTech go for on yield Rad for sale? What do you think? What's the going number on one of those?
Are those things worth anything?
I don't know. I can't figure out how to take a picture with it. It's really ticking me off. I don't want this thing. I'm gonna have to sell it for on Rad for sale.
It's either $3 or $300.
I saw a Super Mario game from 1980. I guess it's 86, right, or 85.
Yeah.
In the box, just sold for something like $300,000.
What?
Wow.
Holy cow! Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Start hitting all the yard sales this weekend looking for that. All right, you guys and everyone out there, thank you so much for watching this week. This has been another week of Bid Nerds, your daily nerd out on the most interesting cars of the day on all the automotive enthusiast auction sites, including Rad for Sale, Bring a Trailer, Cars and Bids, Hemmings Auction, PCAR Market, and whoever else creates an auction site over the weekend. We'll cover them too. Make sure you hit the subscribe, like button, and notification. YouTube doesn't always populate our live program on our channel right away, so if you have a notification, you'll be ensured to know that a new episode is up. But there's always a new episode at around the 9 o'clock hour every Monday through Friday, so you can check back any weekday. While you're out there this weekend and there's no Bid Nerds over the weekend, we're Monday through Friday, and you just can't get enough of us, go check out Porsche Road Trip on Pluto TV. It's on the Chassis Network. Yeah, thank you. And to find it, if you've ever been on Pluto TV, they've got an interface that's just like normal cable, where it shows you what's on while it's on. But they also have an on-demand button. That's where it's easiest to find us. Hit the on-demand button. There's a menu on the side. Just scroll through all the categories and look for cars. It's probably at the very bottom. And look for a picture of my ugly mug. Porsche Road Trip on Pluto TV. Binge watch the entire series this weekend and let us know what you think. Anything else you guys want to say before we tap it out?
Thank you for coming in.
Thanks for me, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for being our resident Rad for Sale guy.
Yeah. Continued success with Rad for Sale, man. I hope it
Thank
continues to go well. Little traction, and you guys are on the way.
Yeah, we're doing it.
All right, fellas, I'm going to close out the show with the trailer for Porsche Road Trip. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
I love driving and BSing about classic Porsches. So how great would it be to take a killer road trip in an old 911 and visit a bunch of my best friends who love the same things? Oh, and while I'm on the trip, I thought I'd make a TV show about it. So let's drive the coolest cars on the best roads with the greatest people in America. I'm John Polnik, and you're coming with me on my Porsche Road Trip.
I think it's just getting people into cars for the reason we like cars, which is actually like driving the cars.
You're living with a Victoria's Secret model. Ever bang her?
Saving it for the next guy.
I take a microfiber and just kind of wipe her down. But
Man, give me a 911 turbo cab. Cause that big wide ass with that top down and that girl's hair flying in the wind. You can't beat that.
This is all your fault, John.
I ain't no collector. You drive them things and I might respect ya.